It's a big one. It's vibes and victories. We've got some heavyweights. We're international today. It's a massive week. D-Day at the Den. The women box. We've got so much to go through. We've got some esteemed guests as well. The sports sangoma as per usual. We've got Nkosana as scrumhalf and rugby enthusiast. You'll find out just why the scrumhalf thing is important. And of course, on ground zero, Kanyiso Chwaku, all the way at the Bok Hotel in Auckland. Geez, what better way to get your finger on the pulse? So without further delay, Nkosana, thanks so much for joining us. How are you feeling this week?
Good morning, Fudge, and yeah, pleasure to join you guys. Excited this week. I mean, I think a lot of us as rugby fans have been waiting for this week the whole year. So a lot on the go. I mean, the banter's already hot. The problem we have in this country is that what I like to call some Xhosa Maoris and some colored Maoris. So they've got a bit to say as well. So exciting week ahead. I think we're really happy, firstly, from the past weekend with our ladies and qualifying for the quarters. And then, yeah, man, the guys just need to get out there on Saturday and just do the job, guys. The once-off test, do the job. And for me, you win this test, I'll forgive you for any other loss the rest of the year.
Yeah, mate. The women box, incredible. We're into spring. It's Women's Month every month, by the way, guys. What a way to put a cherry on top of what was a very special Women's Month. The women box breaking some records, making history, making us proud. I know we're very familiar with the Eastern Cape and the border regions. What a massive win this is. Probably the biggest win we've ever had. Sports Sangoma, Kanyiso Chwaku on the ground. A bit from you guys in terms of where we are rugby-wise and how's the fever in Auckland?
Good evening from this part of the world. It's pretty quiet so far. Auckland is quite a cosmopolitan city. We'll probably start seeing some rugby fever around Thursday, but having done the rounds so far, it's been quiet. It's been quiet. I think as the thing is, Auckland is Paluka's Auckland is probably where the bigger rugby noise is. But for now, it's business as usual. The teams are just getting up to their preparations and stuff. So let's best see how things will be panning out. Probably Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, once people start filtering in for the test match.
And Trucks, tell me, I've obviously heard we've heard that we've been used to Rassie coming out on Monday or Tuesday with the side. Obviously, we've kind of heard that Thursday both teams will be announced. Is that true?
Yeah, I know it was explained in the press conference. So what the Boks generally do is that they'll send out a schedule on the Sunday night before the game. We're explaining what are they doing on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So generally what Rassie's done to be player coach on the Monday, he showed up for that. And then today was 4 players staggered across today and tomorrow, and then there is no media tomorrow. Then Thursday is a team announcement. So then Friday's captain and Nomzali stick. So he explained that he just needs to see what New Zealand will be preparing in terms of a team, and they'll prepare accordingly. And then New Zealand's assistant coach, Scott Hansen, who looks after the defense, was just said that theirs is they just go about their own business. They don't worry too much about these things. So, look, there is a bit of a funk with Rassie operates when it comes to his team announcements. And I think maybe because in South Africa, there's such a fanfare around the team announcement and how the team announcement generates interest. I think it's just one of those where it's become one of the, not a sideshow, but it's become a big part of the Bok week.
So interesting.
Yeah, what is it? Are we waiting? You reckon we're waiting on some possibly injured players? I hear Faf got on a plane to go over there. Should we read anything into that? Are we going back to the tried and tested? Is it a bit of an insurance thing? just like we had a bit of insurance in Cape Town with Pollard, which paid dividends. What do you reckon on that?
I think what you often say, I'm not sure what the team will look like at the moment. Probably there'll be a fair idea tomorrow. But what generally, what the Boks do, if you look back when the Boks play big games, they will tend to go to what normally works. Back to DNA, and that includes how they look at the metric. If you go back to the World Cup, for example, through the pool stages and into the quarterfinal, they're more than happy to announce a team early. But semi-final, final, they went back to the Thursday date. So I mean, the channel to announce a team is still there. You've got until Friday or Saturday morning to make changes to a team, especially if it's medically enforced. So it's just a case of sitting and waiting. So Rassie is a man of occasion, if we're being honest. So I think he's since judged the occasion and realized that this is a game where he now needs to give the team enough preparation time as possible, and that's reflected in when the team announcement will be.
Yeah, of course I know. I know you know. I saw you at the game with one of your heroes there, or Georgie Gregan. So I know number 9 is your play.
4 more years, boys.
And you were quite excited that Faf got onto the plane. What's your opinion on that? Do you think he gets the nod at 9 or off the bench? What's the story there?
Yeah, look, I'm suppose optimistic about that, but realistically, I don't think he will start. Actually, might not even play. And really, where I'm taking this from is just generally how Rassie tends to go about his business. I think, I mean, amongst, call it rugby fanatics, we kind of all know that Rassie does plan in advance. The guys know months before whether they're playing a game or not. So for me, it's a telling sign to actually be flown up the week of the game. That, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really give me the full confidence that you're going to start the game or be part of the 23. But I'm hopeful that he is part of that. I mean, if it was up to me, I mean, I would definitely start with Faf. But obviously, I mean, Rassie knows best. I mean, if Rassie said to me, I'm the one starting on Saturday, I'd also believe him. So we'll leave it up to him and see how that goes. But yeah, cautiously optimistic that Faf gets included there. I think what Faf brings to that team is the maturity, the experience, and the game management that's going to be needed for an arm wrestle that is going to be Eden Park. And added to that, I mean, I say this at every opportunity I get, is that you can't just take away the value of the clutch plays that Faf de Klerk has. I mean, if we just think back quickly in 2023, if you remember the quarterfinal against France, he takes that last rip to get us the ball that Curtly Arendse kicks out and we win the game. Huge relief for all tight forwards that ball had been ripped by someone. I mean, didn't to scrum off. And then even when you go look at the World Cup final itself, there's just some little plays that Faf gets involved in. I mean, there's a late ankle tap on Dalton Papali in what looked like a threatening move to go score. So diffuse that. And then I think also to me, I mean, again, in that final, probably with the last 5 or 3 minutes left, there's that charge down he puts on Finley Christie. To me, that was kind of the final dagger on some of the guys who still had hope. You know, that kind of little squeeze, hit the artery again. And all of a sudden, in a platoon of 15, you've probably got 3 people that left that belief. So, I mean, that's why for me, Faf becomes critical for a game like this, because I think he is the man for the occasion. He is the man of the maturity. And yeah, I mean, as I say, if I was selecting the team, he would definitely start. And then I'll probably have Grant coming on off the bench.
Don't call Faf for nothing, mate. You don't call Faf for nothing. You don't call Faf for nothing. You don't call Andre.
You don't call Faf for nothing.
You don't call Faf for nothing. You don't call Faf for nothing.
We called Lucania for nothing in the World Cup, if you remember. You know?
No. The knee's been tingling for a long time. The knee has
maybe been, for Wellington. Maybe for Wellington, as you're saying, maybe that's the one. I know Kanyuso is a bit on a deadline there, being on the ground. Obviously, as a man of many talents, so I'm sure he's got a couple of columns and a couple more interviews to do. Just before you push on Kanyuso with your endeavors there in Auckland, will you let us know what's the temperaments, what's the feeling on the ground, how the New Zealanders thinking about this after Australia did that comeback on us at Ellis Park and broke those records? Do you reckon they're pretty confident, and Connie, that one will get the victory? I think they're priced at like 4-10 for the victory. and their handicap is about 3 points. Where do you think the New Zealand public and coaching staff's head is at?
Your ability with gambling, Matt, absolutely amazes me, by the way. I had no idea of those numbers. I'm sitting here trying to...
Just follow his tracks. Do what he does.
No ways. That's his science, not mine. Look, they're very tense. They're very angsty. Remember that they have a big issue of the Argentina defeat to deal with. Had they won against Argentina, there would have been a bit more quiet confidence. There's none of that because they realize that the streak is at stake at the moment. Remember, it is South Africa's first test at Eden Park in 12 years. Probably haven't got the Boks at the best at the moment, but if there's one team that probably shows up a real threat of beating them in New Zealand, it is the Springboks. I mean, the All Blacks wouldn't mind playing any other team at Eden Park. They've beaten all comers, including South Africa, to be honest, over the past 31 years. But you look at their current shape now, they realize that England, not England, I mean the Boks can and will be a problem at Eden Park. So they need to show up. They understand why they need to show up. I mean, the fact that the Boks beat them in a World Cup final spoke volumes for South Africa's rugby confidence in particular. And then had 2 games won back-to-back in South Africa. That's something that does not often happen to New Zealand. So look, they'll be tense. They are tense, not they'll be. They are tense, and I think it will play out in how they play on Saturday.
Yeah, so I think it was quite interesting. Do you think this is probably the most contested rugby championship we've had in forever or in the history? Because there's only 2 points between the top and the bottom of the log, right?
No, it is. Wallace Titi said it yesterday. He said it not Wallace Titi. I mean, it was who's this new old black prop again? His name escapes me. Who actually spoke to me yesterday. Tyrell Lomax. Yes, Tyrell Lomax said it yesterday. Tyrell Lomax said yesterday that it is comfortably the most closely competed tournament. I mean, if you look at the fact that the All Blacks have generally started well and everyone then struggles to play a catch up, but now that everyone else has played 2-1-1, lost one. It's anybody's game at the moment. It's absolutely anybody's game. I mean,
watch out
Argentina,
for that Argentina.
And Twins, Argentina are due a rugby championship win. If they don't do it now, probably they'll do it in 2027. Remember, there's no rugby championship next year because of the greatest series rivalry between South Africa and the All Blacks. So look, it's going to be interesting to see how these teams shape up, for the teams are announced and how they play on Saturday. I
think they beat anyone on the day, that performance against the All Blacks. I think they beat anyone on the day, anyone in the rugby championship, mate. I watched that game back. It's very wholesome there, bruh. It's very wholesome. Yeah, Mona, it's 1 to 23 sort of vibes, because I love the strategy they used with the bench as well, having that experience. Come on, yeah, but they've got some tools, and it seems like Felipe Contempomi is unlocking something, pa. So watch out. But anyways, totally agree. This must be the best ever.
Yeah, Fudge, remember, I think you can maybe turn back the videos, and I did say that everyone would lose a game in this rugby championship. So I'll take a nod on that prediction.
They don't call you the sports sangoma for nothing, buddy.
Who knew it would happen so soon, yeah? I don't want to kind of hold up trucks, because I know the three of us, Nkosana, Mtunze, we can really get stuck into a couple of other debates. Kanye, thanks for your time. Before you go, just do you want to maybe do a little of a sports sangoma prediction and give us kind of a tip from the ground?
I'm terrible.
We will be betting in your name.
You have to.
I am terrible. I'm terrible at betting, guys. I am terrible.
At least who wins the game? Who wins the game?
I'll call a draw.
Oh wow!
Wow!
Yes. Jeez, man.
When I do bet. Yes, in 1994, the first game in New Zealand's 50 streak was a draw against the Boks. 6 August 94 was a draw.
Okay, damn.
True story.
No, yeah, okay.
That's a hell of a call. Those are some nice odds. Just because of that, I think I'll put I'll put a little small wager on that in your name. Those odds are 20-1 to be exact.
I'll think about it.
Yes. Okay.
Panyuso, thanks
Okay.
so much for your time, my friend. Good to see
Thank
you.
you.
All the best in New Zealand. Represent us well there.
Oh,
Cheers,
Jabulela
guys.
Buddha. Thank
Cheers,
you.
Charles.
Enjoy it, brother.
Have
Thanks
fun.
for that.
Lucky
Have
Cheers,
fun.
bye.
guys.
Yeah. Nkosana, 20-1. Are you in on that bet?
Look, I mean, you can throw in a few rands there because I don't think it's going to happen. But if it does, it's a lovely upside. So if you don't mind losing a few bucks, I'd probably throw it in there as well. I highly doubt you're going to have a draw there. There's definitely going to be a result. Just based on, I think, where both teams are, the temperaments, and how much it means to both teams. I think it's going to motivate South Africa to say we want to be the team that actually finally breaks the Eden Park hoodoo, not just for the Springboks, but for the rugby world. And then I think for the All Blacks, I mean, it's something that they do want to defend. And I think this crop of players, they've had some hard times, haven't they? I mean, so they're the ones who lost their first series against Ireland. They've dropped a couple of games against Argentina. So I don't think they want to carry on kind of making records for the wrong things here. So they'll be amped with that as well. And I think they'll also just be fired up generally. I mean, it is their home. It is their fortress. It means so much to them. I was laughing at the breakdown. They don't even call it Eden Park. They call it the Garden of Eden. That's how holy it is to them as New Zealanders. So yeah, to me, there's definitely going to be a result there.
Yeah. Okay.
Garden
No,
of
and
Eden. D-Day
Yeah.
at the Den, boy.
I almost think, in my own opinion, I reckon as much as I thought we were under the gun a bit, but I as defending world champs and so on, I actually obviously think it's a lot more. It's a lot more on the line for them. Let's be honest. 100%. So the pressure is on them. So we should 100%. Play into that and kind of give it horns up front. Do what we do best. Make sure we get the first couple of points on the board, and they'll be playing under pressure for 80 minutes if we get that right up front. And it starts with the team selection, I guess. Where your guys' heads at? I know you said, Faf isn't gone over there for nothing. Maybe you fly him over the same week. Do you start him? I'm not sure about that. Yes, I heard you say you would start him, but realistically, guys, where's your head at in terms of the lineups? What do you guys think?
So for me, mate, I think, okay. So in my mind, these are some of the things that came up. Would you go combos, Faf Andre combo, Grant, Sasha?
Yeah.
If you're going with the 6-2 bench, which is what I think will happen. I don't think there'll be anything extravagant or out of the ordinary. I think for any problem, you want the coach to have been prepared with a solution. That's how much pressure's on this game. I don't think this game is one of those where you've got the luxury of doing. I've heard some guys saying it's going to be an 8-0 with Andre Esterhuizen as the ace. What?
You called it 4-4 yesterday.
So now, Bok weeks, mate. It's the best thing ever. And it just so happens to be a massive one. Biggest game since the Rugby World Cup. So for me, I think it'll be a combos discussion. Maybe I don't believe you call Faf for nothing. I think he will be involved. But then again, Grant Williams and Andre stood the test in the last test under pressure. So I think maybe they go ahead and do it. And then maybe Sasha plays with Faf later. So I think it would then be Faf and Sasha on the bench. I'm not sure what the problem with Cobus Reina would be. I'm not sure what's happening there. I don't know how he falls out the picture. That's a bit of a conundrum, actually, considering his form. I don't think he's done enough wrong to not be. Anyway, so it's a huge squad mentality. Very difficult to understand the plan for the day. Very difficult to understand, especially when you don't have access to their training sessions consistently, because that's where these teams are being selected. Make no mistake,
No, I agree, Fudge. I think, look at my side, guys. I think, again, we always talk, we're playing our A1s versus A2s, that type of thing. I think, for me, we'll probably go back again, call it full A1s. And I'm interested to understand where Rassi's head is at, whether he's seeing this game as a once-off, get this win, break this hoodoo, do the World Rugby a favor, and then get back to your build for 2027. Or his mind is at, it's the big game, yes, but the eye on the prize is still three-peat in 2027. So if I want to put my team that's going to play in 2027 in the cauldron, this is definitely the time to do it. Again, personally, if it was my call, and selfishly, I'd say, Rassie, please just go give us a once-off and win this thing. And that, again, then kind of goes back to what you do in DNA. So basically, I mean, when you start the front, I think the front row picks itself at the moment. So you'll have Ox, you'll have Marks. Tight head's going to be an interesting one, whether you actually start with Wilco or you start with Koch. Because I think those combos are going to be important for us when we get to the bench. And I mean, I'll talk about the bench now. I think Luit and Eben pick themselves at 4 and 5. Peter Steff on the blind side. Open side, guys, yes, holding thumbs that Sia is fit, because that's going to be a critical one for us. Hopefully Sia can start there. If not, obviously it's Eskom. And then the 8, I think, is an interesting one for me, Fudge and Shabs here, because we've tried a couple of guys. I don't know, call it the past few games that we've played, who's actually kind of put themselves forward there to say, pick me and let me start. I mean, you got Jean-Luc, we've played Sia there, Kwacha can play there, we've played Kobus Risa there, and I mean, for me, none have really stood out for now, so I think that's going to be a big selection headache for Rassie and co. As I said, 9-10, I'll go with the tried and tested. The guys have won us 2 World Cups. The guys who know exactly what it's about in those pressure situations and will have been in those moments before. So I'd definitely go with them. I think the concern with Buff, to your point, Shubs, is that, interestingly, a few weeks ago, I was at a golf there and we asked Tony Brown what are the important things to beat the ABs at Eden Park. And he talked about preparation. And the main thing about preparation was that the guys get there in time so that they can actually get out the jet lag. Interestingly, he actually said that the jet lag battle is harder from South Africa to New Zealand than New Zealand to South Africa. And part of what he thinks the New Zealanders will do is try to take advantage of that fast start while the guys are still pretty lethargic. So that, I mean, taking that, call it rationale, kind of does then for me put Faf out the picture, because I mean, if I think he only landed there today or yesterday, so he'll probably still be a bit lagged on that side. Centers pick themselves, Damien and Jesse. Kobe obviously on the one wing. Then you got the decision again. Do you go Moody or do you go Lucanio? I mean, not Lucanio, Mapimps. For me, Mapimps tried and tested under the high ball, especially in actually attacking the high ball. And I mean, to your earlier point, Fudge, Argentina, where they really found the All Blacks wanting wasn't that back three, right? They kick really well. They put pressure on them. And took advantage of, I think, of the 2 wings in Sivu Reese and Rico. So Rico hasn't played wing in a very long time. So really that getting up and chasing and fetching is not something he's been asked to do. He'll be asked to do it a lot this weekend if he does play on the wing. And then even Sivu Reese himself, great on the attack, but I think on that, call it the more smarts tactical play and getting up there, found wanting against Argentina, and poor Will Jordan was fielding himself, but getting smashed. To your point, and I think that's where Argentina got the ascendancy. So for me, someone who knows that kick chase game really well is Mapimpi. But then again, you go back to what's Rassie doing? Are you going once off? Are you going future? Because if you're going future, then it's like, well, then give Moody a go and let him go in there. But if you're trying to say secure the once off, then I say Mapim. So I think to me, that's another selection that's pretty open, unknown. And then the fullback one's an interesting one again. Probably the incumbent at the moment is Fassi. You've got Gaza, who's just come back. For me, the tasty played, I think, is a bit short of a gallop, just in terms of the Gaza we know. Missed some tackles that 10 times out of 10 I'd expect Gaza to make. So, I mean, I don't know whether the trust is there then to actually give him a go. Apelele also, I mean, the general sense from people was that he's not necessarily at his best, probably a victim of his own success, because he's not necessarily having a soccer, but I mean, he's not on his best game. And then again, when you talk a tried and tested thing, I won't be popular for this, but you got Willie Leroux. A lot of talk about the calm he brings, the organization he brings, the support he gives to Andre Pollard to actually allow Pollard to kind of almost be the more regimental type play. And then when you want to unlock things, it's really who goes into that 10 channel. So I don't know what we'll do there. That'll be interesting one. So I think for me, where our selection headaches are looking likely to be, it's 6, it's 8, it's 9, it's the one wing, and it's fullback as the starts. I mean, that's where I'm at on that. And then again, I mean, watching the breakdown yesterday, I think the guys said it themselves, is that if you look at the last two tests here in South Africa, what we forget is that up until the last quarter, those guys were up. And it's our bench that was the difference. Now, respectfully now, Fudge, when you look at our bench, I don't think it's got the same bomb squad bang it's had from like 2023. I think we've lost a few players there, and that's going to affect us. I mean, fortunately, we've got Afia. I mean, so he'll give us what we need there, that energy, that bang, that aggression. We've got Kwagga. Obviously, he'll win the battle stats. But I think it's our front row where my concern lies that come on now at the end of the game. Because I think we always had the luxury of having the best two front rows in the world. And getting them for 40 minutes was almost a cheat code. Whereas now, with my other out, with Kitsi out, we're kind of blooding in new guys. And I mean, I think they still need to prove themselves. And I think the concern for me is, if you look at the Australian game, I don't know, Shubs, how many scrum penalties did we get? I don't think we got a lot. And that's a telling concern for me, especially with the amount of work that you see now. Who's this guy? Jason Ryan is actually putting in on that team and almost building that Crusaders DNA where you do your set pieces really well. So you scrum well, you win your lineouts well, you can maul well. And again, first test, Chubbs and Fudge, is that the All Blacks did a great job of mauling the Argentinians and actually getting more tries. I don't know why they went away from that the week before, but that's where I think my concern lies, that historically, if you look at, call it, the last 4 games you've played, although we weren't getting a lot of scrum penalties against the All Blacks, I think we're putting their scrum under a lot of pressure. So they were getting their ball on the back foot. And then even on our ball, it's always guaranteed that we're going forward. And I think going into this test, that's going to be a concern, that we don't seem to have, call it, that bang and aggression up front that we've had, call it, in the past 4 tests.
Yeah, I think for the most part, you've made some very solid points there. Yeah, definitely, I tend to agree with the pack. I think I did quite like Thea at 8 in the first test. I think he played one of the better games I've seen him so far. I think he got maybe pulled off a bit too early. I think that's also in part the management and the coaches a mistake there in that first test. So I wouldn't mind seeing him at 8 again, because obviously Jasper has got another week off. So Jasper hopefully obviously will be back in for Wellington, which has hurt us. Yeah, I see you want to say something then. What's that?
No, he was silly. He owes us big for that, Jasper.
Yeah, yeah. And he owes his brother, and he owes his father and his mother, because they didn't get to play together. He's got a laundry list of debts.
They'll get an opportunity. They'll get an opportunity.
But I don't mind seeing Sia at 8, and then I wouldn't mind. I don't mind seeing Kwagga start, but he's probably better off the bench anyway. So you got to think of probably Van Staden if that's the situation. And then what do you do? I definitely think Faf, as you're saying, on the back of what you said, Tony said at the golf day. I do think it's maybe a bit rushed to get him to start the game. I don't mind seeing him off the bench as kind of insurance, as we have Pollard as insurance from time to time. But obviously Pollard starting with Grant at 9. The tried and tested 12-13. I agree with you there. Obviously Chesn picks himself. And then we look at the wing. I don't think Kaylan's the one for the job. I would go with Mampims. I agree with you there. And yeah, tough one at 15. I'd obviously like to see the weekend special there, but I think Willie might be the pick. I don't think Damien's the pick. I think it's Fassi or Willie. I think that's kind of where my head is at. Yeah, and then the bench being the bench, as you're saying, we need some heavy hitters off the bench. I don't think it would be the 6-2 or 7-1 or 8-0 split. I think we're closer to a 5-3. Maybe as a utility, having Andre Esthuizen covering obviously the 2 positions. I think this time we could see him on the flank at some point in the game to kind of give us that heavy load and agility on the flank. And depending on CS fitness, maybe that's where the double cover will come for Andre Esthuizen. That's my 2 cents. So not far removed from your picks there, Nkosana. I'm not sure, Fudge, where your head is at. As a number 5, King of the Skies, what do you think of those selections?
Yeah, mate. So actually, I like that. That's actually a nice spanner. You're right. I didn't think of that. I think the reason Sia moves to 8 is so that Marco can find a place in the side, because he's been one of our more outstanding players recently, form-wise. Kwagga, bench. I think that's where he plays his best rugby. And he'll add a lot in that last 20. You need a spoiler, you need someone to slow it down, especially if you're able to build a lead, which I think is the game plan for us. We need to start hard and not chase. Put pressure on them as much as we can, and scoreboard pressure will be important down at the Den. So I agree with you there. But very interesting then that you say to me that Andre then becomes that third player, forward back, because you do have to start to feel, if Sia starts at 6 especially, that you're going to need to have cover for him just in case, you know? It has been frequent injuries. Even though he's fully fit, I have no doubt about it. It's still something odds-wise. Odds are not really in your favor if you're going to go with him for 80. You've got to think that you're gonna need to cover for him. And if Marco starts, which I think is the only way he makes it into the side, then Andre becomes that cover. You know, he becomes that cover, and also, you know, has extra cover in the back line as well. So that's an interesting one, because then on the bench you've got a 5-3, but that means that's how Marco then falls away. It'll be 3. The usual for me, the usuals. I think the only one, hooker could also be a discussion. Jan-Hendrik Wessels, maybe, or Marnus, depending on what we want. It's gloomy, it's wet. Usually, you want someone who's a close combat specialist, right? I think Jan-Hendrik would be more than Marnus. Although I like Marnus. For me, Marnus is my preferred kind of a hooker, if I can say. I appreciate the mobile sort of fish eagle, you know, calls in New Zealand, Malvaka in France, you know. So that sort of modernized hooker, I think, is quite nice to have in a side. Almost acts as an extra 6. So I like Marnus. I think he's good in close combat. I just don't know if he is battle-hardened enough yet. Although his season with the Scarlets was outstanding, he showed that part of things against some big size and some big sides and big players. That's going to be an interesting one on the bench for me. Otherwise, it sort of chooses itself. Vincent Koch or Thomas du Toit, that's another one. Back to what you were saying, Nkosana. Future, are you talking future or you know, once off? Is it the gift? Hey, how does Rassi think about these things as well? You know, is it the gift you give your players that have won the 2 World Cups? You know what I mean? I think he is a sentimental kind of guy. I think to make the jersey have its value, you've got to always sort of appreciate legacy, and especially when the decisions are difficult, right? Sasha Feinberg, Gomez look excellent, but then, hey, whoa, a few little iffies here and there, right? A few question marks there. Mani Lebok, oh, wow, great. Oh, yes, boom, oh. So there we go, back to a few question marks. So Andre comes in and, oh, there we go. What you don't want is for Andre to have to come in, because he's going to do what he does. And he's going to give you an immediate comparison that almost gives you no choice, right? And that's why now I think this legacy conversation starts. Otherwise, I think it would be easy. It would be, let's go for the future, right? So now that Eden Park, best chance you'll have in a while, best team you'll ever have, best team arguably holistically, you might ever have. It's a once in a generation, mate. This is the best. This is they're calling it the golden age. We used to have a golden age, that 2007 period, which was incredible. But now, you know, we've gone platinum. So lots of decisions to be made. Be interesting to see. I don't think you call Faf for nothing. That's going to be the interesting call for me. But that third one, Sports Sangoma, I like that, mate. Andre Esterhazy is an extra cover, because you're going to be so physical.
But just to throw it to you there, guys, I mean, if we say that this thing is really going to be arm wrestle physically and I think even mentally, and we know that, I mean, historically, when we've played these guys, we've actually backed the 7-1. So if you remember Twickers, we went 7-1. And if you remember when you watched Chasing the Sun, they had a big decision to make around what they do in the World Cup final. And Rassi himself said that, I believe our best chance to winning this thing is if we go 7-1. As a split. So again, I also think they'll go call it more 6-2. But now going back to that point, is there value for them in having, call it, Andre as that hybrid between back and forwards? Or is it very clear that actually, guys, if it is going to be wet at Eden Park, which usually is, it's going to be also a physical squeeze. So I'd rather go, call it 6-2 with 6, call it, specialist forwards, rather than having a hybrid flank. Because cool, as much as he's trained flank, guys, I mean, I don't think he's got the 10,000 hours. And personally, I mean, I wouldn't risk him at a game like Eden Park, where what is likely going to be happen is that you're going to be caught by the smart of your opposition just based on little things. The time you hit the ruck, where you're standing in defense, how you've moved across. For me, I don't think Andre respectfully has got, call it, that experience playing as a forward to be thrown into this particular cauldron, specifically when the evidence that continues to stack that says, guys, 7-1 Eden Park, quick as we beat them. 7-1 Rugby World Cup final, we beat them. 6-2, both in South Africa, we beat them. I don't know now you'd want to do that in this particular game, but I suppose just a thought I'm throwing back on the Esther Hazen thing. Because my sense is, do you bring in probably another hard man like Kobus Visa? Because what you'll then do is that you'll have obviously your front row. Again, another name we haven't thrown back there is Bongi, because there's talk that he might be going back again. Jet lag might be a thing, so he might miss that. And then you got obviously after coming in, he'll probably come in for Luit. Kwaga will probably come in for Sia. And then you now have got the option of saying, now, do you give that spot to Andre? Again, you don't know who your 8 is. So do you give that spot to Andre between your options of you've got Kobus Vita, Jean-Luc, again, depending who you start. And then there's perhaps someone else I'm forgetting as a call it a tight forward blindside. And there's also Sos, guys, in that. I mean, what do you do with a guy like Sos? Hard work, donkey work. Yes, there's a bit of bang as in got older, but that guy will give you what he's got. So I don't know about the Andre one.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky.
You
I
made some
agree
good
with you
points
there. That's a good point. So for me, you're right. I think
Made some good points.
I think maybe he comes in perhaps if it is a 7-1 as that seventh sort of hybrid forward. But again, if they start Willie, because they could use Willie at fly half in that last 20 or so, or as cover in case there's an injury. Maybe they go with Andre throughout the game, and they figure they'll use Willie as cover if anything happens. If he starts at fullback, then you don't really need a specialist fly off on the bench.
Yeah,
maybe that's how you put in. Maybe that's how you put in a Faf there, and then a Andre Esterhazy who then can cover because look, at the end of the day, you're going to have two locks. I agree with you there, Nkosana. You're going to have 2 locks and 3 front rows. So that's a 5 already.
Yeah, I
and
think also then
who you need as well, Kwaga and Marco. So it becomes really, it's going to be so interesting to see.
We also forget that Kwaga is the original kind of utility, right? So if we say for sure he's on the bench, he can always play on the wing, right? 100%. And then we do have Grant Williams, right? He's a 9. He's also on the wing, right?
Yeah.
A possibility on the wing. He's one of the quickest guys on the side. And then we've got, then we start with Willie, and Willie gives us that option at 10 should we need it. So yeah, I think, it's quite an interesting debate. I'm not sure, maybe we all get it wrong, but I think we're not far off the mark. I think point taken, Nkosana and Andre. I think Kwaga is the original utility guy. And then I think Willie might almost pick himself as the option at 10, and we kind of hope that Andre sees it through. We know Cheslin can go to the back. We know Cheslin can go to 9. We know Grant can go to the wing. So, there are still a couple of options, even without exploring that Andre flank center option, which maybe he holds off for the Wellington test. But as you were saying, Nkosana, I think for everybody, and I think even for himself and for all the players and for the rest of the rugby world, we've got to make this a priority in the tour. I think this is the one that we just have to win and get over the line, and that's that.
Yeah, and Adi is sitting there saying, "Not on my watch, not on my 100th game." So
yeah. Oh wow, I forgot about that point too. Yeah. And I agree with you with the forwards. We've got to go probably with the 6-2. if not the 7-1 on your point, Fudge and Nkosana, but also think it will be a bit wet underfoot. It is New Zealand, it is Auckland. We've got to expect that. So, you know, we've got to kind of prepare for that. But either way, it's going to be bloody interesting. And it's going to be one of the best, you know, one of the best spectacles we've seen, as you're saying, since the World Cup final, yeah?
Straight away.
We've got some time to speak a bit of Currie Cup before you leave us.
Yeah, I got 2 minutes, so we can.
Excellent.
As obviously as a Sangoma, I like to just get predictions in and out the way. What do you think? One, of the Currie Cup this year. What's your thoughts on that? And two, who do you think the playoff teams are going to be now that the top three provinces are out?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we're not going to get much surprises there in terms of what that top four is looking like. I know that we talk that the guys still have got an opportunity to actually bang in there, but my sense is that that top four is going to remain the same. If any swings and roundabouts, it's just going to be between who ends second, who ends third type of thing. But I think the top four is actually going to stay the top four.
So you don't think Pumas will make it in? Pumas don't beat Sharks on Friday nights to set the tone for the weekend.
Nah. I think the Sharks are building something special there. I mean, they'll take a lot of confidence from that last gasp win this past weekend. And yeah, then I think, I mean, JP's building something nice there. It's nice to see how the guys are coming together. So I think he'll keep it together.
And your pick for the Currie Cup for the overall win?
Tough one. I'll wait for you. Tell me yours first, and I'll tell you mine.
You've got to put yourself on the line here before you leave us.
A wild one, but I'm saying, I'll back the Sharks.
Oh man, I was gonna say back the dark horses for Sanlam Poland, man. To go for Poland. Be the guy who backs them, not the Sharks, mate.
We're talking about winning the Currie Cup here, yeah?
Look, it's an interesting one. Sharks, Lions, Cheetahs, Griquas. For me, I say Griquas. One of the oldest clubs in the country and one of the oldest domestic competitions in the world. History's going to be made in the City of Diamonds, my friend.
Yeah, it pains my heart to say it, but I think Lions might go all the way. They'll do the trick over Griquas this weekend. They'll get a home semi-final, and you know, I think they might take it all the way. Poland might just fall short on this one, unfortunately. But yeah, Nkosana, my friend, thank you so much for your time. Yeah, good to see you again. Hopefully we'll see you on the fairways and greens fairly soon. I see you're back out there and the swing is looking half decent.
Thanks, we'll try to get back out there. We'll try to make it out. But yeah, guys, this big weekend. I mean, it's one of those that daily, as you get closer to it, the excitement still builds. I've cleared my whole calendar for that first part of that Saturday morning because I want nothing to be me. I'm actually going to go watch the game. I'm sit at home by myself, because I've realized that that's actually how you actually get to watch the game versus talking about the Oaks and missing a game itself. But he's big one. I mean, Rassie, please, man, guys, just win this for us. And I promise you, when we get back here, guys, I don't know, we'll flip and massage you guys and help you guys get better. Just win this game and everything else is fine. I mean, you can even lose to, I don't know, Wales in Cardiff and lose to Italy end of the year, as long as you win Eden Park. Please, guys. See ya. Come on, gents. Please. Okay.
Yeah.
Final call on my side is, I'm going to say it, guys, Boks by 2.
Boks by 2, yeah?
Good call.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, Nkosana. Thanks for your time, mate. We'll catch up later, yeah?
Thanks so much, man. Awesome input, bro. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.
Yeah, Fudge. So here we are, yeah? Quite an interesting, robust debate there from on the ground and from our learned friend there, Nkosana, who's very, very, very knowledgeable and highly opinionated. But I think he's got it right. It's probably better to watch it at home alone, so you're not dealing with too many opinions and you're able to watch a game. Where are you going to be watching this weekend, my friend?
Well, I'm hoping I'll be doing the same as Nkosana. Like a hot chocolate, you know?
Yeah.
watching the game. I'm going to be working on a bit of Currie Cup later on that afternoon. So nice little way to get the rugby juices flowing, you know, early morning. I actually love those early mornings. 9:30 is kind to us as well. You know, usually it's 7:30. 9:30 is perfect. Most people are up by then anyways. So awesome. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a sensational one. The Currie Cup also last round this coming weekend. Friday and Saturday is going to be insane, like you're saying. That game on Friday to set the tone is massive already. And then yeah, I'm looking forward to the peak, my friend, the women box going into the quarterfinals. People are talking about belief now. You know, you look at that Italy game, a side we've never beaten before. I think also a performance we maybe have never really had before, besides that first half, just before the World Cup against the Black Ferns, 15 that we beat. So for me, I'm looking forward to the women box. That's the highlight of the weekend for me personally. I love the game at Eden Park, test of the year without a doubt. But that women box game, this coming very soon is going to be a massive one. As uncharted waters, we do not know. We've never been there before, you know, and we're going up against it together, united. Can't wait to see how that turns out. So look, interesting as well to see with so much in the air. How are the odds looking actually for the Currie Cup?
Yeah, you know, just before we start on that Currie Cup odds, I think the women box will get humbled on Sunday, unfortunately. They're coming up against a very strong French side. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. I would like to see where that kind of plays out. Us finishing first or second, obviously finishing first, you usually get the easier game. So yeah, look, let's see what happens there, because I'm not sure which pool plays who, but I find it quite hard to see us getting past the French, even with that Italian performance that we had. I think they are the generally more seasoned and better side, but who knows? They've got momentum. The ladies have got momentum. Who knows? They may go out there and pull an upset. If they do, potentially that would get us through to the semi-final. So that's huge. But I feel like slipping up there, we might find ourselves up against one of the big teams. I'm afraid I think it's either England or New Zealand. So that's I think we must enjoy what happened last week, and hopefully that momentum carries us into this next week, into Sunday.
Yeah, I think you go for it. I think they have to. Exactly what you just mentioned. Now they know if it's now or nothing. You know, I think they go for France, because France is also thinking their own things, right? They've got their own dynamics to deal with. Let them deal with their dynamics. What we do is we come out like it's a final. We play the best we've ever played before. We give proper data to the coaching staff and to yourself as a player. You never, you know, one of the worst things to experience as a player is to leave a little bit out there on the pitch. You know, I know it's quite it's a commonly used phrase, right? A cliche, you could say, that, you know, leave it all out of the field, leave it all out of the field. If you don't, you go through a few hauntings, you go to the next game with a little extra costs, you know, and skeletons. So that's what for me, the modus operandi has to be for the women box. Let's go out there. Let's give it our all. It doesn't matter. We're not looking at the future or anything. The rest of the story will tell itself. Let's make sure that we control the controllables, you know. So yeah, you're right. Odds not in our favor, but odds haven't been in our favor before. And the women box, I think, are playing with that plus one. You know, there's a spirit about them. It's incredible. That border Eastern Cape sort of vibe they have there. The sisterhood is strong, my brother. The sisterhood is strong. So that's the one I'm looking forward to. What are the odds? Do you have any odds on some of the rugby this coming weekend?
On the Currie Cup side, I think because it's where it is in the week, it's probably a day early. If I can just probably throw some out there, I'd probably see Sharks and Pumas similar at 9 to 10 as the odds. That game could probably go either way. maybe Sharks with a slight edge at 8 to 10, and Pumas probably at 11 to 10. I'd say the Western Province borderlines also not too dissimilar to that. Yeah, no, not too dissimilar from the Sharks province, but I think maybe going on last week and the previous week's results, I'll probably have borderlines as a slight favorite, and then Lions Griquas. Lions Griquas, I'd probably have Griquas as a slight favorites there. Not too far apart, a handful of points, maybe a try or two on the handicap. And then Bulls Cheetahs, similarly the same. I'll probably have Cheetahs as a slight favorite, maybe 3 or 4 points on the handicap. That's just my shot in the dark on what the odds will be. The bookies haven't really posted up yet. It's usually a kind of like a Wednesday or Thursday thing for the Currie Cup. So I would say in general, the away teams will be the favorites, barring maybe the Sharks Pumas team. Maybe they'll be a bit more even. So yeah, that's kind of where my head is at with those odds for that game. And then when it comes to the women, I know that for sure the favorites kind of like speak for themselves. Canada is strong favorite to beat Scotland. USA, huge favorites to beat Samoa. Wales, strong favorite to beat Fiji. Japan, Spain, probably the best game of the weekend in terms of competition and how close it'll be. But I think Japan is looking the part and maybe a slight better favorite. And then Italy, obviously much stronger than Brazil. There we're just counting how many points. Would it be 40, 50, 60 points? And then France, South Africa. Similarly, unfortunately, France are a strong favorite. And according to the bookies, I think they about a 20, 21 point favorite over the women Boks. So I would possibly look at the plus there, because obviously we back our ladies. As for the straight win, they're probably sitting at about 7 to 1. Which
bad one, bad bet, good bet. I've watched them play. Good bet. I've watched them play, mate. Aseza hele, Chumisa Kawe, Apiu Ngevu. It's yeah.
So put some bucks on that. I think similarly to what Kanyiswa said earlier, put some bucks that you're willing to lose on that bet. Similarly to maybe the 20 to 1 draw on the New Zealand test match.
Are you gonna put some bucks on it? I follow the sports Sangoma. I'm lucky. I've got a I follow my Sangoma there, bro. So what do you say?
Yeah, look, to be completely honest with you, I'm gonna take a little double or treble bet, which will probably include the women Boks on the plus 21 points. And then I'll probably look at someone like in England, kind of putting up the points against Australia, probably putting up 25 plus in the women's game, and then I'll probably look at the Sharks game. In all honesty, but it's something I've got to ponder about over the next 48 hours. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting weekend, men and women. But obviously, the priority this weekend is the Boks. And if we over that jet lag, like Nkosana and you had mentioned, and we start and we put off pile on the pressure early, I don't see why we can't get a historical victory this weekend. And I'm just holding thumbs.
Are you putting money on that?
I'll put a cheeky 200 Rand on the draw.
That's okay, not bad. Damn, that's a 4K. Yeah, oof, that's not bad.
And then I'll look into. I see your maths is getting better there. 4K, yes, that's it.
You've
4K.
been teaching me well, mate. Come on now.
And then I'll look at Argentina plus 8 points. Yeah.
Over Australia.
Yeah, I'll say they won't lose by more than 8. I reckon Argentina in Australia, and then I'll probably look at over under points for the Boks game. I'll probably look at total points there, depending on where the head is at. It's going to be a bit of a tense match. We're going to go back to the grind. I think New Zealand are going to revert back to the grind that they did in the first test against Argentina. So I think with it being also a bit wet underfoot, I think I'll probably look at the over-under points there. I don't know where they'll sit, but I presume they'll sit in the late 40s. If it's under 40s or just in the 50s, I'll go under at the 50s. If it's mid-40s, like 44, 45 points, I'll look at over total points on both ends for those two teams combined. But yeah, at 20 to 1, 22 to 1, I'll definitely put a couple of bob on that draw. Who knows? Like Trock said, this 50-run unbeaten run started with the draw against us, yeah, in 94, I think it was. So why not repeat that again? And, you know, sometimes history repeats itself. So let's see what happens. And if a draw happens, that would make it all the more interesting. But obviously, I'd prefer the win by 2 points, as Nkosana has predicted. I just think I would prefer a win by 4 points, so they don't have that option of that last gasp winning penalty, you know, at Auckland Park. But yeah, either way, we're up for a humdinger. Absolute humdinger.
It's a biggie. No, it's a biggie, mate. It's a biggie all round. What a way, what a climax to what has been an insane rugby season, mate. It's gorgeous. Here's a quick one for you. I don't know if there's been a Currie Cup where a few days before the last round and four or five different teams could win it. Literally.
Yeah.
So how's that looking to win the Currie Cup? How's that looking? Who would you put your money on there to win it?
Yeah, like I said just now, unfortunately, as much as I want a minnow side to come through with the goods, I'd love a Boland or Griquas to take it. I think Pumas, it's a step too far. I think Griquas and what's them have a chance. Griquas and Boland do have a chance. I fear that Lions and Cheetahs may actually get over the line. Depending on who plays at home in the semis, I think is quite a big deal. I think if Lions are at home and Cheetahs are at home, which I don't think Cheetahs can achieve, but well, either one of them could really, but I think one of them would have to be away from home. If they're away from home, I think Griquas will come through. That will mean Griquas comes through in the semis, Griquas comes through in the final. Both of them played at home. Yeah, I'll probably take a dip at Griquas.
Ooh, nice. But you're following. Bro, I said Suzuki Griquas are my team, mate. Come on, bro. I said that.
Yeah, no, you did.
You reckon as well. The sports sangoma reckons as well. Boom.
I think from what I'm from this debate that we've had today, it's been quite
convinced you, huh?
Yeah, I think it's convinced me, and it's been quite fruitful, and it's got my mind to kind of like ticking over quite a bit. I think I'm going to back what you said with Suzuki Griquas going all the way.
Here's a quick one for you, mate, right? Here's a quick one. These guys have got big sponsors. Suzuki, Toyota, right? Sanlam now with Boland Cavaliers. In fact, the way they've been able to recruit players has been quite incredible as well. So clearly the management's dealing very well with the sponsorship. There's an amazing bit of transparency, which is, you know, fertile ground to be able to recruit the way that Harvey's has been able to, management and players. And then you've got ailing Pumas, you know, who are also, you know, well sponsored that side. Is it not time to start speaking about a Southern Hemisphere something? Come on. I would, you know, the rugby Suzuki Griquas are playing, right? For me, I would love to see them take on a Moana Pacifica.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know, I hope I said that correctly. I know I got it wrong the last time I was talking to you.
Yeah, Moana Pacifica. Yeah, I think it definitely it's definitely brings up the debate. You know, I think all the Southern Hemisphere teams are kind of losing out from not competing with each other. I know the travel is an issue traditionally, but I think you see it in the Super Rugby, and you see it with us. I think I personally would take back Super Rugby with the Pacific teams playing any day over playing in the URC, any day. That's
What?
some of the best.
What do you
That's
mean?
some of the. Those are some of the best years of rugby viewing that I've had. Is the early morning waking up to watch Sharks play Auckland or to watch Wellington play Lions. I love that Saturday morning. I love a Friday morning like that.
PlayStation, mate. Guys, took up, you were playing PlayStation, mate.
I
No,
love
but
Friday
that's childhood
mornings.
memories, though, as well.
Yeah,
I'll give
well,
it to you. Doug Howlett,
not that long ago,
Rocco
not so
Toko,
childhood.
Tupeni Daudani Buka. Wow.
I
Oh,
love
my
seeing our
goodness.
club sides play against their our provincial sides playing against their provincial sides. I think that was some of the best entertaining rugby you can get. And you can tell that they're missing us. And in turn, for free, I think we've definitely turned our game because the European game gives us a different type of game. But I do definitely miss playing Auckland and Wellington and Otago and the rest of them. But
yeah,
who
I mean,
knows?
I'm missing it now, seeing the Currie Cup and the type of rugby these guys have been playing there. I can't as in I'm missing. It's nostalgic for me, you know. It reminds me of the rugby the Cheetahs used to play back in the day, you know. It's Philip Berger and the boys when Tepo Koko, when Coco was the fullback
Coco,
and
and Kennedy Tsimba
and Kennedy. It was, you know what I mean. So I hear you with that nostalgia. Without a doubt, it was the most exciting times for me. Perhaps I was biased because you never really watch sport like you do when you're a kid. And you're literally going to go outside and play what you saw on the TV screen. But the Currie Cup is bringing up a couple of those memories as well so far. And the reason I'm backing the Suzuki Griquas is because of the rugby they're playing. It's brave, it's modern. They've got a young coach who was watching rugby when we were watching rugby. I mean, I think Peter Berg's 38 years old, you know, and he's playing a brand that clearly the players are buying into. He's got some good balance. He's got one of the best scrums in the competition. His lineouts are excellent. His recruitment has been spot on. He knows exactly how to use, the tools that he's been able to gather and sharpen over the past season. So for me, they've had a few losses. They're not dealing maybe with the same pressure that the Pumas are dealing with. I'd love to see these teams go up against some Super Rugby teams. And I'm not saying it for nothing. There was some news that Toyota is involved as a major sponsor in New Zealand as well. And hopefully they see the value. Maybe broadcasters come together. But I think that would be proper premium watch. That's premium entertainment right there.
Yeah. Look, I definitely agree with you. Let's hope something comes. Let's hope the sponsors come to the party and we can get some Southern Hemisphere domestic rugby going again. What are your predictions? Australia, do they win, do they lose?
That's
New
a
Zealand,
big one as well. That's a tough one.
And the Boks, who wins, who loses?
No, for me, the Boks are going to smash the All Blacks. When I saw Argentina do what they did, if we select the right players and we sort of get the right sort of a thing out of the players, I think we're gonna have to play in chukkers. That Argentina game was played like that. These guys had moments, 20-minute chukkers where they were blowing it, and then 10 minutes where they were happy to kick a little bit, stay in line, kick a bit. But the work rate when they had the ball, the way they were playing through phases, for them to keep up with that scrum half, Garcia, insane. That he looks to me like a Aaron Smith, Super Saiyan Aaron Smith. He looks like a Super Saiyan Aaron Smith. It is insane. You watch that scrum, watch that game again, or look at that scrum off. The fly off as well, enjoying the ball, the handling and contact for me was excellent. It was the most rhythmic rugby I've seen in a long time. It reminded me a lot of the performance we had against the All Blacks before the World Cup. It was smooth. It was ferocious. It was vicious. I liked it. So for me, I think Argentina, dare I say it, could be favorites right now. I think rugby-wise, against a determined team, yes, in front of their home crowds, but they've had some big losses in front of those crowds as well. In fact, they've had some extremely disappointing losses in front of those crowds against big rivals, France and England. So for them to get that win, I think it unlocks another kind of beast. Those guys are young players who got baptism of fire with Felipe Nkontempomi. I think he was also aiming for the Rugby Championship. to have a proper go. And when he saw that, hey, the wheels on the Springbok bus aren't as tight as everyone thought, including the All Blacks as well, I think he licked his lips and thought, you know what, I've got a good chance at this. So for me, Argentina beats Australia. I think we thrash the All Blacks because we just have to. We have to. And when I saw that performance, that was a good All Black side that took on Argentina. There were a few problems there. Problems that had to do with structure defensively, which is a tough one, and physicality. Their tackles and technique, work off the ball, they just looked a little bit off the pace. All of a sudden, you're being challenged at the high ball. You mentioned that the wingers were a bit tricky there. So I think for us, looking at that game and looking at how Argentina did it, that's our DNA. That's how we want to play, right?
Yeah.
Andre catching and passing, taking it flat. That's his game.
Yeah.
When he has DDA on his outside and Jesse Creel, who was running much closer into that channel, that vacuum, at least on the fringe of that vacuum, just before the 15-meter, the wing channel. Nice. So I think we do what Argentina did. I don't know if New Zealand can come up with a solution because they played their top team. There's problems there, bro. I think we thrashed them by 20. I'll say 15 points. Just because there'll be pride in New Zealand. And we've shown that we can have some warm moments, instead of hot moments. We can have some lukewarm moments. So I think, 15 points. Realistically, I think we club the All Blacks by 15 points.
I think you're running away with the 15 points, but I'll take 8 points maybe. I'll take one.
I'm passionate for sure, you know me.
But on that note, just to wrap it up, your double bet there, I've just worked it out, will be about 13-2, which is 6.5 to 1. So if you put in 400 Rand, you'll get back 3.4 back.
On betting on what I just said now.
On the Argentina South Africa double, yeah.
See, so you're saying if I put money where my mouth is right now,
otherwise you're just talking, Otherwise it's just all talk, no action.
Yes, you swindled me. It's fine. I'll take that swindle. That'll just make the weekend even more exciting, mate. It's a good one. Why not? It's one of those.
I want to see the tickets. Or you can do me a cash send and I'll put on the bet for you now this morning and send you back the details. But thanks for a good conversation, Fight. It's been absolute cracker.
Yeah, no, awesome, mate. We love vibes. We want vibes, but oh my goodness, we're desperate for victory, mate. We are desperate for the victory part of Vibes and Victories this weekend, both for the women Boks, especially for the Springboks out at the Den, Eden Park, D-Day. It's coming. Finally, it's here. Now, I can't wait, mate. Thanks so much, bro. Thank you to the guests as well. Kanyiso Chwaku down on Ground Zero in Auckland. And apologies. Nkosana. Thank you so much, Bawo, man. It was proper value, eh? Nice one.
Vibes and Victories. Cheers. Out.